Worries on my mind, it's been a tough week. My life feels a void, there's something that I need. My supplies on the table, I grab a comfy seat. I need to craft to put my mind at ease. Crafting changed my life, it mends my soul. In my happy space, I'm in full control. It's crafting time, craft my troubles away. Give me a world of color to brighten up my day. Crafting videos on, searching what I can do. Sipping on my drink, feeling inspired and new. Crafting's good for the soul, it's so true. Bringing beauty into the world through. As I craft, my spirits start to climb. It's not just a pastime, it's a state of mind. It's more than just a hobby, it's a way of life. I express myself, everything is feeling just right. It changed my life, it mends my soul. In my happy space, I'm in control. It's crafting time, craft my troubles away. Give me a world of color to brighten up my day. Crafting videos on, searching what I can do. Sipping on my drink, feeling inspired.
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. Okay, guys, we are back. I'm so excited because I have to tell you right off the bat, we've got to give a really big thumbs up, clap, comment, whatever you want to do it, however you want to do it, to hubby. He was up all night, hasn't slept yet, up all night rebuilding the computer so that we could go live today and hopefully have no issues. So hats off to him, guys. I have to tell you, good morning out there. And if you can, go ahead, grab your little cup of whatever it is you have, and let's give a nice big cheer to him because he's pretty tired. So, it was tough. It was tough, but he spent the whole night rebuilding the computer, and we got another computer here, and just it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of work that it took to kind of just start all over again and with a new computer and build it back up to where we are, where we were yesterday, but just without the glitches, right? So yes, yay, hubby. So raise your little glasses to whatever it is that you are drinking. Yeah. Yeah, he's pouring himself a cup of coffee. Yeah, you're gonna have your little coffee. Go ahead.
It's not working. Okay, wait, I can do it manually.
Yeah, there we go. Pour yourself a cup. There you go. So raise your little glasses, pour yourself a cup because he did it. He was up all night and up until the very last minute. There's still a couple of little things that we have to tweak here and there, but for the most part, we are up and running. So, yes, very big glass to that, and hopefully, we're done with all those technical issues. So I'm going to grab myself a little sip here. You can never toast and just put your glass down. You got to drink a little bit. Okay. So now that we got all that out of the way, I just want to say thank you and appreciate you guys for hanging with me with all those glitches that we had. It kept freezing up and it just didn't want to connect, and it was just problem after problem, and we kept having these little problems for a while now. You guys kind of just didn't see as much of it, but there was a lot going on back there. A ton going on back there, and I'm just going to continue going on because I like to do my crafting. So he's got all the technical guru stuff and I just craft. So he's got his job to do, right? We got to keep him busy. Yes. Okay. Yes, good man. Yay, Mr. Hubby. All right, you've got a fan club out there. Heather says you got a fan club out there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alrighty, so we're back again. So if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm yabbering on and on. My name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and we just like to hang back every morning for about an hour and just do some crafting. Sometimes we do some demos, sometimes we do little projects, and sometimes, it's just showing off different products or just chit-chatting away. So we love to do crafting and all types of crafts, which include sewing, embroidery, anything, any kind of craft you can think of. We try to do it here. We talk about it and share tips and tricks. So if you're here for the first time, let everyone know in the chat that you're here for the first time, because we'd love to kind of say hi and welcome you in. Alrighty, and we've got people from all over the place as well. I've got my Canada folks over here. Oh, thank you, Heather, for the super chat. You're so sweet. Thank you. That will be for Mr. H. Yes, Mr. H. Thank you. Up all night and did all of that. So I tell you, it's not easy. There's just so much that has to get done. Thank goodness that we had bought the computer, so we know that we were going to do this, but we were going to use the computer a little bit differently, and we had plans to kind of do all of that when we move over to our new craft space. But yeah, just, life. So we had to change plans. You can never have things go exactly as planned. You always got to be flexible to be able to move around and do different things. So yes, super, super proud of him. Thank you, Heather. Yes, we are very happy and appreciative. And I think it's going to be part of my gift because we are celebrating our, 28th anniversary on Saturday. So, yes. And I never let them forget. That's right. It's our 28th wedding anniversary this Saturday. But we'll still be here for Saturday Crafternoon. And, we don't really have anything planned. We're just going to kind of just relax. And after this little fiasco, I think we just want to kind of take a little break and just kind of, relax a little in the house. So, not much going on there, but of course we'll probably maybe do a little dinner or something like that, and it's gonna be fun. Just home, probably grab my mom, who knows. So yes, thank you. Happy anniversary to Heather and Susan. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, crazy, huh? Can't believe we've known each other that long. Oh, thank you, 1 Minute Tips. I appreciate that for the super chat. Yay! So that'll be part of our happy Thanksgiving, happy anniversary little dinner, right? Maybe we'll go out. Maybe I'll give him a treat, right? Who knows? Yeah. So, okay. So, guys, I'm so excited that all of that got out of the way. And like I said, thank you again for sticking around and, helping us through that because it was really nerve-wracking that, things seem to be going well. And then once you go live, everything kind of fell apart a little bit. So, who knows? Hopefully today we're smooth sailing. So, let's get into it, shall we? We've got a couple of things going on, and oh my gosh, guys, food truck. I know you guys must be starving. What are I doing? I'm surprised you're not yelling at me at the chat. We gotta get our food truck on. Yes, here it comes. Okay, we've got all kinds of goodies for you: coffee, donuts, muffins, anything that you want to drink. We got tea and coffee, and we got the soda out there too. And of course, for all of my healthy people, we've got the kale and the carrots. Go ahead and use the juicer. It's available. We've got other types of veggies out there too if you want to throw it in the juicer. No calories, nothing that is going to do any damage, and you can have all you want. Totally free, right? Yay, food truck. Yes. Awesome. Your anniversary is July 1st for 38 years. Wow. Awesome. Well, congrats on you. Thanks. That's wonderful. Awesome. Okay. Any other anniversaries out there? I see Bettina. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So you've got coffee. Alrighty. Okay, well, we've got the coffee, we've got the snacks, we're ready to go. So let's kind of jump into a little bit of a recap from yesterday. So yesterday, if you were with us, despite all the technical issues, we were able to embroider some dollies. And let me see if I put something white underneath it so you can see it a little better. So we've got, this is the dolly that we did together yesterday. And you can see here, I went ahead and I cut all of the water-soluble stabilizer off. And then this was done with organza. And you can see here the finished product. And I went ahead and cut all of the edges around with the little thread burner that we looked at yesterday. And so you can see what I like about it is I can really, because it's such a, let me take it out so you can see it again. It's because it's such a small little triangle, like the thread burner is so small. It allows me to really get into these intricate type places where I could really get in there and burn off the pieces that I need to get burned off so that it really takes that shape. So I really like it for that as well. Well, versus like a lighter that you could use, the most you can do is kind of go out on the outside. With this, it really lets me get in here and get all the little pieces. So I really do love that. So I did enjoy using it, and it's very easy. And for me, I prefer to use this than to use a little lighter to kind of get that out. So lots and lots of fun. If you didn't tune in yesterday, you could see me using it yesterday, but this is what the box looks like. It's on my Amazon shop, so you guys can check that out if you'd like. Then here is the second one. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Happy anniversary. Well, we're going to use all of this to get our little dinner. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Lovely thoughts. Thanks, guys. That's really sweet of you. So for the second one, this was the one that I did prior to us going live. I had this thread, which was a little bit lighter. And I'll put them side by side so you guys can see. This was the one we did yesterday together with the darker thread. And then this is the one that we did with the baby blue thread, which, whoops, whoa, I almost lost them. Hold on, let me try to put it back on the paper again. Here we go. And you can see how the colors are different. And this was where I was saying yesterday that I do love it. It looks really pretty, but the color was just a little too light. And so I wanted it a little bit darker. And you can see here how a little bit darker thread made such a difference because you can really now see the details from further away. You can see it, but you have to be a little bit up close to be able to see, all the details because the thread is just so light. And the organza material that I was using was very, sheer. So you can barely see that too. But I think the darker one does look a little better only because you can see it from further away. So yeah, a lot of fun on that. Very easy to do. Cute little design. And so now I've got my little dolly. I can go ahead and, bring that over to my mom because she always loves these little projects. So I'll go ahead and do that. And alrighty, so I think that was our recap from yesterday. Today I'm excited because I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm jumping ahead just a little bit on the holidays because I really wanted to see how this was going to stitch out. We're going to do a little bit of embroidery, and I'll show you the project in just a bit. Before we do that, let's go over to our crafting news because I do have a couple of things that I need to talk about with you here. And let me just get my notes in order. Here we go. Alrighty, so for crafting news, what do we have here? Let's take a trip over to Canton, New York, where neighbors are just rolling up their sleeves and they're fixing things together. So at Canton's very first repair fair, volunteers have came out together to help folks mend their broken items, their sewing machines, their footstools, bikes, and radios. Now, instead of tossing things out, people are learning how to patch, glue, and tinker their way to a second life for all kinds of household items, which is pretty cool. Now, one woman that was there, she learned how to clean out the fuzz from her sewing machine for the very first time. Oh my goodness, I can only imagine what that looked like. So I'm sure you probably could have seen the pile of lint that was coming out of there. So another one picked up sewing tips and even went home with a new houseplant. But the fair wasn't just about fixing things. It's about building the community, neighbors helping neighbors. They shared tools. They passed along little know-how type of things. It was kind of a little get together. Let's learn how to fix things. I'll show you what I know. You show me what you know, which is pretty cool. And if you think about it, it's kind of like almost what we do here on YouTube, right? We share tips and tricks with each other. It's just they were able to do it in person, and that was in Canton, New York, and I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, you did write a song about it. That's right. We've got a song about that. People helping people with tips and tricks. Okay, so now let's move over to the Yates Center in Kansas, where we've got a brand new quilting group, and they've already been stitching up a whole lot of love on that area. So they're called Peacemakers, and even though they've only been meeting for 2 months, they've already made and donated 30 quilts to the Pregnancy and Family Center at IOLA. That's a really big donation for them, and it won't be their last. So the sweet group of 10 people meets every Wednesday at their local church to sew, chat, and share love through handmade quilts. It's inspired by a sermon that was done about helping other people, and they decided to go ahead and make it a mission. And their next batch is already in the works, and that one is going to be heading over to the NICU Center in Kansas City. And they're also raffling off a quilt every week at the Yates Center's Farmers Market to raise money for supplies, and anyone is welcome to join in, sewing experience or not. That's lovely. Awesome. Okay, we got one more for you, and this is in Salt Lake City, Utah. So the Marriott Library is preserving Utah's quilting legacy by collecting photos and stories of handmade quilts that date back all the way to the 1880s. Isn't that cool? So thanks to the hard work at the Utah Quilt Guild, These treasures are now live in the digital archive, and so anyone can see them and learn about the amazing women that made them. Every quilt in the collection came with special details, how it was sewn, what fabrics were used, and even the little notes about the maker's life. One quilt was made by Mary Garn, and she tells the story of a strong pioneer who raised 12 children and spun her own wool after losing her husband for just 4 years after settling in Utah. Isn't that amazing? And we think we're busy. Try raising 12 kids and spinning your own wool. Wow. So these just aren't blankets, they're time capsules, and they're full of a lot of love, strength, and creativity. So if you can, check those out as well. So that's pretty cool. I really love our crafting news today. I think it gives a lot of inspiration out there and just kind of shows that, there's people all over the world doing things and doing all kinds of crafts and helping others. So that's what we've got for our crafting news. Now for today's project. I'm excited. Are we ready? Okay, so for today's project, like I said, I'm jumping a little bit ahead on my holidays, but I was really dying to know how this was going to look and how it was going to stitch out. So I printed it out here because this is what we're doing here. It is a little autumn quilt scene that we're doing, and we're using our embroidery machine to do it. But we're going to be doing it on a little bit different material that you would not normally find a quilt on. So it's called the Haunting Autumn Scene, and I'll give a little picture. It's just a picture on it here. It's by Urban Threads, and not sure when this design was out. It's probably been out for a while, but this is the first time I'm going to be stitching it out. And so you can see here, it's got a little haunting scene. It's got an owl, some pumpkins, little butterflies, a tree out there. So just a little scenery that's out there with the owl kind of looking back at you from the window with some pumpkins. And I think that it's super cute. And this is from, it's just embroidery designs that they have at Urban Threads. Now, they're having a sale right now at about 70% off their designs. So this particular one, it's a 6-panel quilt that gives you all of the 6 different blocks that you would put together to make that panel, right? And it is actually on sale for $10.77. So you get all 6 scenes for $10. Not too bad. And it's really pretty. Now, they do recommend that you do it on a dark background. So you can do black fabric, something like that, because that'll really make the colors pop and make the scenery kind of come to life. But I didn't want to just do it on black fabric. I thought, let's do it on something a little bit different that we haven't really done live yet. And that is using something that's not too expensive, that hopefully everyone can kind of go out and get. And we're going to be using faux leather. Yes, I said faux leather. We're going to take a trip to the dollar store and got some faux leather. Now, this I have gotten, they've been carrying it for a while. Dollar Tree has these little faux leather boxes that you can get. And let me just open one up so you can see what you would get here. Let me just make sure it's the right color that I want. Here we go. This is actually, I've got a dark blue and then I've got a black. We're going to go with the black. And let me open it up here. I did get a whole bunch of these a few, maybe months ago. And they still have them today because I see them all the time. But I've stocked up on these because I knew I was going to do stuff with this. So I went ahead and got kind of a lot of these. And I got all kinds of different colors. So this one is just black. And so this is what you get. It's 11.75 inches by 20. So you get a pretty generous amount here. Let me move this over here so you guys can see the entire thing. So this is what you get out of the box. Again, it's by Crafter Square. You know, you can also get their items online. If you don't have a Dollar Tree nearby you, they do have a website, Dollar Tree, and you can go in there and you can find all the stuff that they have at the store as well. So if you don't have one nearby and you wanted to kind of get their products, you can definitely do that. And of course, $1.25, right? So not too bad. You get one full here. Now I can make 2 of the panels out of this one piece because I'm using my 5x7 hoop. So I'm using the Brother SE 1900 to do that. And so I will fold it in half here. And this is all I need to do the panel. So I will cut this right in half here. And this, I'm going to have 2 pieces that I can use. Yes, definitely for those on a fixed income, you know, watching their budget, things like that. Dollar Tree really has a lot to offer because, you know, if you are creative enough, you can use a lot of their items and not have to spend so much money to make really beautiful things. So really not bad. Oh, Dollar Tree prices will go up today. Oh no, all vinyl is clearance at 25 cents. Oh, wow. Didn't see any vinyl in your store. Wow. Quilting with Harriet. Wow. I've heard rumors of that, but it hasn't really hit our area here. So we're still kind of at the same dollar. I mean, I think people were already upset when they went from $1 to $1.25. So I can't imagine what they're doing now. But it's still relatively low price. You can also check out your local Walmart because your local Walmart may have it as well, and they may have bigger rolls, so you don't have to get little individual ones. You can probably get a bigger roll at a decent price as well. But yeah, if you don't have that, and maybe you have some faux leather on hand, you can use that as well. But we're going to be using faux leather. We're going to embroider on it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this piece, and I'm just folding it right in half, and I'm just going to cut it right there. And let's go ahead and do that here. So I'm going to grab my scissors, and all I'm going to do is just leave it nice and flat here. And I'm just going to have my hand up against it, and I'm just going to cut it going across. I don't have to worry too much about it being perfectly straight because all I need is the 2 pieces, because I'm going to be trimming all of that off later, so it doesn't really matter. So now we've got 2 little pieces here, and I'm able to do 2 more panels. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. Now, I did 1 panel last night, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let me get the other little boxes out of the way. I did use, like I said, my 5x7 hoop. That's what I'll be using again today. And this was one of the panels on here that came out. And it is a little owl sitting on the branch with the falling leaves around it. And you can see it's stitched out just beautiful. And so I have not taken it out of the hoop just yet because I did want to show it to you guys. And when you flip it over, you can see there's a few jump stitches, and I kind of cut some of the jump stitches as I went along. And you can see here on the back side, you can see some of the jump stitches back there too. I haven't trimmed any of that off. Some people don't even bother to trim it off because it is the back. But very, very cute. It's got these little snowflakes kind of coming down as well. Those little dots are representing some snow, so that's pretty cool. But I think it's going to come out pretty nice. And I haven't trimmed anything off yet because I'm still kind of deciding, since I've got all this extra vinyl, I may just kind of leave a little strip in between, or I may try to kind of line up all 6 of the panels and just make the one scene. Kind of depends. Sometimes you can see here they kind of separate each panel. I've seen them both ways, where it's all put together or it's separated, right? And we've got those going across. So I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but that is what the scene looks like. And so we've got the owl sitting, I think it's right over here. That's the one that we stitched out. And so we've got like other ones with the butterflies and the pumpkins and all that still to stitch out. So I think it's going to come out pretty cool. And we're doing it on faux leather. So really not too bad. Like it. You need to make this. Yeah, metallic thread for the stars will be exciting. Yeah, that would be exciting too. Yeah, you can definitely do that. I mean, I was kind of hesitant because I was just so curious. I really wanted to just stitch this out. And I was going to save this for later for Halloween, but I was just so curious on how it was going to play out. But I'm really surprised that the colors that it recommended, even, I was just kind of like, really? Because one of them was like a really bright orange. And it was kind of like, well, I don't know about that one, but it really did do a nice job. The pattern name is called Haunting Autumn Scene. And it's from Urban Threads. Haunting Autumn Scene. So you can see it's here. It says a haunting autumn quilt scene is the description, but that's the name on the top. If you just search for it on the top, you'll be able to find it pretty quickly. But yeah, I think it did a really nice job on the faux leather, and I'm excited of what it's going to look like on the end. You know, right away, you know, you think you're just going to use some black quilt fabric, right? Just make sure it's a dark fabric. But when it kind of came to me like, whoa, I should try to do it on something else besides fabric, right? Just like we did yesterday, you know, with our little dollies. So I thought that was pretty cool to do that. And it was super easy, I can tell you that. So let me just show you what I did to hoop this and put it together. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start off the stitch. I don't think we're going to end up finishing it because it will take some time. So I'll start it off, hoop it up, and we'll see it, you know, start stitching. But then we'll put the rest of it together, and I'll show you what it looks like, hopefully on Monday. All right, so I've got my 5x7 hoop. It's going to require cutaway stabilizer. So I do have some cutaway here. Pretty big roll. Got it from Amazon too, so... I'm going to open that up here and get my little rotary cutter out. Now, the way I do this, I just make sure that I have a generous amount going around my hoop. So I'll just go ahead and cut that piece. And then I'll just put this over to the side here. You have a Halloween panel project UFO from Sweet Pea that you need to finish. Well, Marge, take that project out. You can do it with me here. We can share our Halloween results together, even though, you know, we're still in June. That's okay. It's all right, right? It's all good. We got to prep anyway. These things take time. And then if we like it, we may want to make more for somebody else, because doesn't that always happen? Oh, you made that? That's so nice. I want one. Can you make one for me? And there you go. Yeah, that happens a lot. So one thing to know, and I think a lot of people maybe who are kind of new to embroidery don't even realize this. When you have these 5x7 hoops, like these are the ones that Brother gives you, right? The bottom half of your hoop, they do have these tiny, tiny, tiny little triangles on the top of your hoop. And I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see that, but it is a really tiny triangle that is pointing down. Okay. And then on the top of the hoop, you've got the little tiny triangle here that's pointing up. You need to line those two together. And when you put it together, you'll see that they're facing each other. Some people will do this. And although, yes, it's still going to work, but you are not really lining it up because it'll have a notch on the bottom here, but it's not the arrow. And if you really take a look at it, the notch and the arrow are not lined up together. And although you don't see too much of a difference, but the correct way to hoop that is making sure that the two arrows here, you see the two arrows, how they're lining up now? That's really the correct way to hoop that. And so people don't even notice that because it's kind of hard to tell, but that is the correct way to hoop that. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. Some people just don't even notice that because it's just so faint to be able to see it. So okay, so we're taking our cutaway, we're going to lay it flat here, and I'm going to be hooping this. You are not going to hoop your faux leather because I don't want it to get what they call hoop burn. And you're asking, what is hoop burn? Are we burning something? No, we are not burning anything. No fire here. But hoop burn is a thing that can happen. Let me just open up my hoop here just a little bit because I forgot to open it. Hoop burn is something that can happen to your fabric if you hoop it. And when you take it back out, you're going to have like a little line going around your actual product. And it's really difficult to take out if it can get out at all when it comes to faux leather. So you don't want to hoop anything on here. And I wish I was standing up because it would make it so much easier. But oh, here we go. Okay, we've got it in here now. Alrighty, so we've got this nice and hooped. It's nice and taut. You do the little drum test. If you're not sure what that is, that's just tapping your finger onto the back of your hoop where you have the cutaway stabilizer, and it kind of sounds like a little drum, right? So that's the little drum test, knowing that you have this nice and secure with it being nice and taut in here. So now that we've got that going on, we're going to go ahead and grab our faux leather piece that we cut off, and we're going to be putting this right on top. Now, we don't want it shifting around all over the place, so there's a couple of things that I'm going to do, but I'm not a fan of it. So this is the quilt basting spray, and I don't want to spray the entire backing here because I don't want my needle going through this and picking it up, and it's going to make it very difficult for it to kind of stitch out nicely without having issues. So I am going to put just a little bit, but I'm not going to put it in the middle of my hoop. I'm going to try to spray base this around the edges where it's not going to be stitching. That way I don't have to worry about my needle kind of going through all that gunk. So I want this to kind of stay on the outer edge, and I'm going to keep the embroidery area free and clear from any kind of basting spray. So very, very little. I just need to hold it in place, and I'll show you how I'm going to kind of reinforce that. So I'm going to move this over a little bit off camera because I don't want to spray and the spray coming up all over the camera. So I'm just going to kind of move this down here over to the side, away from your machines and anything else. And I'm just doing very little, very, very little spray on the edges. And it's going to require you to have to clean your hoop after because you'll get a little bit of that spray on the edges here. So just note that. Now I'm going to take my faux leather and I'm going to fold it in half. Find my little center point, and I'm good kind of just winging it the other way. You can fold it again if you want to know what your exact center is, like this, and so you'll know this is your point, that's your exact center. But I'm just going to kind of hold it here using the guides on the hoop. I'm going to line it up right here because I've got plenty of excess around it. So I'm okay with that. And then I'm just going to lay it flat here and just walk my fingers and make sure it stays nice and flat. And then I'm going to kind of, using my hand, just spread it out to the edge where the basting spray is. so it will help anchor it down. Okay, and so that's how I kind of reinforce this. Now, faux leather itself, I've got a lot of, done some research on the material itself. It does not have a lot of stretch to it, right? So I don't have to worry about this being stretchy and moving too much around. Now, some people won't even spray baste it at all. You know, so you could do that as well. I just put very little around the edges. That's all I want to do. And so now I'm just going to grab some clips. And I like to use, for this particular project, I like to use these really big clips. Okay, you have the small ones that are your sewing clips. That's really not going to do me any good because they're just too small. I need the bigger size. So grab kind of a bigger size clip and just go around and clip them wherever you can. I'm actually going to start on this side. Now, I'm going to try to stay away from certain areas because I don't want it bumping up against the machine. So I've got, here is the side of the embroidery hoop where I will attach it to the machine. So I'm just going to generously put it around, and you can move it around once you get to the machine as well. But you're just basically clipping your cutaway with the faux leather. Just clip them together. That's all you got to do here. And that's it. You can put more of them, you know, however you want to do it. I think it's fine. It's really not going to go anywhere. I think it's going to do just fine. So it is ready to go. That's all you have to do. That's how simple this is. And now let's head over to the embroidery machine. Ooh, we had a little power outage there. If you guys saw that little flicker. I don't know. I don't know, guys. That didn't sound good. But I think we're still around and we've got our UPS backup. So I think we're still good. But yeah, I didn't check the weather this morning. So I don't know. We'll see what's happening. Could be just all the heat, right? Who knows? Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's head this over here. I'm going to turn around and I've got my mic and all these cords and things. You know, guys, cords, they're a thing here. Cords are a thing. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on the machine here. And let me just hook this up on here. So we've got it now right down on our sewing machine. Okay, so let me see if I adjust this a little bit so you can see it a little better. You guys see that? Let's see here. Yeah, let me do it up a little bit more so you can see that. How is that? Yeah. You guys like that angle? Maybe a little better. Okay. I'll kind of adjust as I go. I think we're okay with this right here. Okay, so let me drag this over so you can see what buttons that I am pressing on the machine here. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit. There we go. Now, it does have a little bit of a glare. I'm going to see if I stand on the other side of this to kind of help that a little bit. No, it would have to be on this side. Okay. Oh, that was good? Oh, okay. Okay, so on this way. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm gonna let's angle up, he says. Okay. All good? We can see the screen? Okay, so I've got the design already on my USB on the machine, and I've loaded them all in. And so you can see them all here. And again, there's 6 panels, so you see all 6 of them here. And I'll just kind of select them. You can see there is the owl. That's the one that I did last night. So you'll see that it is there. And you can see here, if I just go back, I can kind of preview all my designs just by hitting that little button there, and you can see what's coming up. So this one is cute. That's the pumpkins. I think we'll try to do that one next. It really doesn't matter what order you select. You can do any order. Here's one with the butterflies and the flowers. And I just kind of hit my back button, and then I just can go through each of the scenes. It's got a little deer, which is really cute. There's some more butterflies. And the last one here is the tree. So let's go with, I think it was this one. Let's try the little pumpkin. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then I'll go ahead and hit set. Okay, so now you can see up on the top, it's telling you that the length and width of the design is 4.85 inches. And I can, because I know I have a 5x7 hoop, I can try to stretch that just a little bit bigger. I do have that ability by just hitting size. And then you have the little hoops here, these little designs here. You can see you can either bring your design in and shrink it, or you can pull it out and make it bigger. So this is what you would do to pull it out. And you can see now that the size just changed to 4.94, and I can keep hitting it. And there's 5.04. So it's giving me that tiny little extra piece. Now, if I hit it again, the machine's going to turn it towards the machine. Oh, okay. And so on, okay, we're angling up. There we go. Okay, so I can continue to kind of move it up or move it down, and the machine will beep at me to let me know, hey, you can't go any more than this. So let me try it so you can hear it. So if I'm going out again, see how it stayed at 5.04 and it kind of beeped at me. So it's telling me, nope, you can't go any further than this. So even though you have your set design size, you can try to stretch things just a little bit and the machine will adjust it for you. Now, I don't want to do this because I want to make sure that all 6 of my panels are the same size. So when I put it together, it's going to look great. So I'm going to go back down and shrink it back down to the original size, which was 4.85. So here I am, and then I'll go ahead and I'll hit OK. Okay, and then I can also rotate the design. So if I need to rotate it on here, we can do that as well. I can move my needle if I need to move it more to the center, if I was trying to line something up. And you have other options. So don't be afraid to play around with the options that you have here. But that's pretty much where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and hit End Edit. And then you have this screen right here. And this little button is probably one of the most important buttons that you want to hit before you actually will go in and embroider anything. So let's hit that. And I'm going to show you what that's going to do is kind of trace. It's going to move my hoop all the way around and trace where it is going to go ahead and stitch on. Okay, and you can test, let's say I wanted to see, can I go all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom without hitting the hoop? You can do that by just hitting that button and it'll move to the top. Or you can just hit it to the bottom, so it goes all the way to the bottom. Or you can just hit this button here. Let's bring it back to the center first. I can hit this one and it'll just go all the way around. And make sure that my area is clear. Now I just kind of like to put my hand on the hoop itself while it's doing it, just making sure that it's not going to hit anything. And it's nice and clear, it's all good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then I'm just going to tell it to embroider. And you're going to see here, it already lists all of the colors that I need. So I'm going to start with the very first one, which is 415. Now I'm using sim thread, so you can see here this is the color that I'm using. That's the very first color that it is asking me to do, and it's letting me know, hey, the entire job is going to use 7 different threads. That's your 0 to 7 with the thread here, telling you how many thread changes you're going to have. The entire design is going to stitch out in 27 minutes. And it has 15,440 stitches per minute. It's also letting you know that you're using the Q foot which is the embroidery foot that comes with the machine. And then it kind of breaks it down here into sections. So your first thread here, your first thread color is 415, and it shows the little design here on the side. So it's letting you know that this particular thread is going to stitch out for 1 minute, and this is what is going to stitch out. Okay, so that's where you can see here, where everything is going to land when you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to thread the machine, and I'm going to go ahead and put my thread in, and let's get this going here. Okay. Not sure if you guys can see me threading the machine, but we'll show that on another one. And I'm going to move this over again now. We're going to start to see this stitch out, because the only button I need to kind of press here is go, right? So we're all set to go here on the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the button here on the machine. So let's see. And there it goes. Now this one's only going to stitch out for 1 minute, so not too much to be seen there. It's going to be really quick. And then we're going to prep this for our next color thread, which is going to be 333. That is the thread color number that it's asking me to do. And I'll get that ready. And then we're going to kind of let this thing stitch out, and we're going to talk a little bit about faux leather really quickly. I'm just going to do the one color change. And it's going. See if I can get this a little bit higher up. There we go. Okay. So there's the first one. It's just finished it, and it's on to thread number 2 now. So I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, let me take my thread off. I'm going to go ahead and cut my thread. This is the new color that it's asking for me to put. And then I'm just going to grab my 2 threads here and just do a little knot. Oops, sorry, my hands are a little dry here. There we go. Okay, and then after you've got your little knot, I raise my presser foot and I grab my thread that's on the needle and I just pull. And then you're going to see the little knot come out with your new thread. And then I'm going to just put my foot down and I'll go ahead and thread that. And I'll go ahead and hit start. So it's going to do that for about 3 minutes. So while it's doing that, let's talk about faux leather. Let's get back here on the table, because I know we won't be able to stitch all of it out today. So faux leather. Okay, we've got different variations of faux leather that are out there, and don't have all of that memorized, so I'm going to use my little notes to kind of show and tell a little bit of this. So we've got 4 different categories of faux leather. There may be a few more here and there, but for faux leather, you've got polyurethane, which is, you can see when you're purchasing your faux leather, you may see that come out as PU. Oh, right. Thank you. What size needle? It's a 7511 needle. Okay, we're using a 7511 organ needle. That's what I put into my machine last night in order to do this embroidery. It is not a 8012 or a heavier needle. It's actually 7511 because you want very small holes piercing into the leather, and you don't want to see a whole bunch of holes on there. But 7511 will work perfectly for this design. Okay, and that's when you go to the website, they do tell you to use that 7511 needle. So make sure that you do change your needle before you start this project. It is a sharp needle, Debbie, not a ballpoint. I actually had a sharp. It's an organ needle is the one I'm using. So yeah, so that's working perfectly. Now, okay, so polyurethane leather is the most common leather. It's made by a coating of fabric that is put onto the back with a layer of polyurethane on there. It's known for being really soft, really flexible, breathable, and suitable for clothing and other types of upholstery on here. Now, ones that you'll get at the dollar store or Dollar Tree, you'll see on here the contents of it says polyvinyl chlorine, and it says 100% polyester. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And you can see that here. This is considered PVC, which is a polyvinyl chlorine. And this is a type of leather / vinyl. This is made with a film that is on the backing. Okay, it's durable. It is weather resistant, more weather resistant than a PU, which is a polyurethane leather, right? It is less breathable. So PU, which is the other type of faux leather, is more breathable. This one is not as breathable, okay? And it's used for, again, for upholstery, for shoes, for items that are subject to wear and tear. So not too bad of a quality. It is a type of faux leather that is used a lot and for different purposes. Then you also have a microfiber type of leather, and that's a synthetic. This is a leather that's made from really fine interwoven fibers, and that kind of really mimics the real leather. Okay, it's known for it being soft, for it being flexible, durable, it's stain resistant, and it's less prone to fading. So some people will kind of leave this out, and you got to kind of be careful because it can fade on you with time. Then we've got our fourth one, which is the sustainable bio-based faux leather, and that's made with some plant materials. And the plant materials are actually mushrooms and pineapple or any type of recyclable material, and those are eco-friendly. So it's a great alternative. So I think that was pretty cool to kind of know and learn about the different types of faux leather that are out there. And, you know, so when you pick it up, you know, look at your labels to see what it's made out of, and you'll know if it's PU or if it's any of the other types of PVC or any of the other types of faux leather, and you know what category you're in, then you'll know how to deal with that type of fabric. Okay, so I wonder how it would be used for garden flags. I don't know, because it does have a lot of fading to it, so it may fade with that. So yeah. Okay, we've only got a couple minutes, guys. So let's get to it. I want to give you your inspirational quote of the day, and let's get that thing going here. All right, so today's quote of the day is, "Sewing teaches us that with every start and stop, we are still moving forward." And that is the truth here. It just teaches us, and we continue to grow. And, you know, as we stop and learn about different fibers, different fabrics, we learn a little bit more every day, and we just really like to grow with that. Okay, so thank you, Barbara. I'm glad you appreciate the info. Did a little research on that. So it was really interesting to know about your fibers. That's super important, right? Alrighty, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's session of no flickering, right? So we're going to continue on our journey and continue to learn and grow all day today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.